So back in Season 4 of Shadowlands, they came up with this idea for the Fated Mythic Plus season, right? And it was awesome. Finally, we had new dungeons that were not from the current expansion. It was the very first time they ever did it, and they've been doing that every season since. Now that we're through the first 3 seasons of Dragonflight, it got me thinking, what could the Fated Season 4 look like? My whole theory stems from this. The last Fated season had a theme. What was that theme? That theme was looking back in time at the mega dungeons from the last 4 expansions. We started with the mega dungeon Tazavesh. It was split into 2 dungeons, and that was from the current expansion Shadowlands. Then we worked our way to Mechagon, back in BFA, the expansion just before. We had 2 dungeons there. Then we went back in time to Legion, where we did Return to Karazhan. 2 more dungeons. And then we go to Warlords of Draenor, where they didn't have a mega dungeon that expansion, but they did pick 2 dungeons that fed into each other. We had Grimrail Depot that delivers to the Iron Docks. So we did those 2. Going back in time through the last 4 expansions. So this got me thinking, what would the Fated season be for Dragonflight? What would the theme be? If you think about it, we just had BlizzCon. They just announced the World Soul Saga, Return to Azeroth. We're going to return into the Earth with the War Within, dealing with the ramifications of Sargeras stabbing the planet, right? So we're going to go to the desert where the Earth was stabbed. So we have the world, we have elf shit with the Well of Eternity, Burning Crusade implications, and then we have Northrend, Titans, So the last Fated season was looking back at the history of WoW over the last 4 expansions. My idea is to look forward, going from Classic WoW through all of the expansions. My choice for Classic WoW would be Zul'Farrak. It's right in the same region that the sword was stabbed into Azeroth. So what better than to have a nice desert dungeon right in that same area, Zul'Farrak. Now I know what you're about to say. There's way too many bosses. It's never been in Mythic Plus before. They said they're not going past Mists of Pandaria. But they already did that. We already had Cataclysm dungeons, and New Blizzard is not afraid to give us what we want. So I think it would be so cool to go back and actually explore all these old dungeons that people actually love and care about. Then my next choice for Burning Crusade would obviously be Hellfire Ramparts. The very first time we encountered the forces of Sargeras, right when we went through the Dark Portal. This dungeon was there. That's the one we're going to do next. And also, just think about all of the implications behind the Burning Legion and Sargeras' forces and the Sunwell and the history of the elves, exactly what we're doing in Midnight. Then that takes me to my pick for Wrath of the Lich King. Old Kingdom. Now that's perfect because the Nerubians are going to be the first major boss that we fight over in the War Within. And it's perfect because it's also on Northrend, the same continent as WoW's last expansion, the Last Titan. So just to drive this home, we have Azeroth, we have Elf stuff, and we have Northrend stuff. So then that takes me to the next 3 expansions. We have Cataclysm, we have Mists of Pandaria, and we have Warlords of Draenor. For these 3 dungeons, I went with remade dungeons. Dungeons from WoW's history that have been brought up into current time. It goes with the theme of looking back at WoW's history. So then for Legion, I went with Assault on Violet Hold. Now you may say that's a little weird because it's a Northrend remade dungeon in Legion. But the cool thing about it is it takes place in the Demon expansion, the Sargeras expansion, carrying villains from Northrend. And it's also a remade dungeon, just like the last 3 expansions. Then that takes us all the way up to BFA, and what better choice than Shrine of the Storms? It's closely tied to Old Gods, Xalatath, our future in World of Warcraft. This couldn't be the more perfect end to my Fated season. So that's what I think they should do for Dragonflight Season 4. Let me know what you think down in the comment section below. I would love to hear your thoughts. What do you think they're going to do? What should they do? And more importantly, what do you think the theme will be for the new Fated season? So hey, thanks for watching. If you liked the video, make sure to subscribe. Until next time, I'll see you later. This video is brought to you by your support on Patreon. Visit patreon.com/GrouchyGus94 to help support the channel.